morning. My name is Crystal, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Aligning Your Wellness Program with Your Business Strategy conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. If you should need assistance during the call, please press star then 0, and an operator will come back online to assist you. Thank you. Ms. Danielle Sheretz, you may begin your conference.
Great. Thank you, Crystal, and good afternoon or morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As Crystal mentioned, my name is Danielle Sheretz with the National Business Group on Health, and I will be moderating today's webinar entitled Aligning Your Wellness Program with Your Business Strategy. We are very excited about today's webinar as it hits on a lot of top-of-mind elements for us here at the Business Group, and we know at many of our member companies as well, and that includes the transition to a broader well-being strategy, or some things you'll hear about today, as well as aligning the programs to a company's business strategy. So before we get into the content of today's webinar, I wanted to address 3 housekeeping items. The first is that you should have received an email with the slides for today's webinar just in the last hour or so, but if you don't have that email handy, the slides are also available on our website. You can go to our website, businessgrouphealth.org, and click on the Events tab in the upper right-hand side of the screen or on the top toolbar. Click on Events Calendar, and you will see it at the top of your screen. You can also type in the email or the web address that you see there, businessgrouphealth.org/events, to bring you straight to that calendar. Because of the size of today's webinar, we are going to hold the questions until the end of the call, but please feel free to submit them at any time. We will be taking questions electronically for today's webinar. You can submit a question by clicking on the Q&A tab on the right-hand side of your screen. Type your question, and please click Send to All Panelists so that we make sure that we see that question. And then finally, at the end of today's webinar, we will be posting a webinar evaluation. We would ask you to take a moment before exiting the call to take the brief survey. We do use these, and it would be helpful to share with us how we did on today's call, as well as ideas that we can explore for the future. So with that, I am very happy to introduce the speakers for today's call. First is Henry Albrecht, co-founder and CEO of Limeade. Henry founded Limeade in 2006 with an idea in his basement and has transitioned it to a high-growth health, well-being, performance, and culture company. Through his work with Limeade, he also patented the world's first comprehensive well-being assessment. So thank you, Henry, for being here today, and we look forward to learning from you and your expertise. After Henry, we will hear from Ashley Argyle, Benefits Analyst with the Williams Company. Ashley has served as Wellness Coordinator and Benefits Analyst for Williams for 10 years, and the past 2 years she's been responsible for managing the relationship between their wellness providers and Williams. She earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Human Performance Management and is a certified American College of Sports Medicine exercise physiologist. So thank you as well, Ashley, for being with us and sharing the Williams story. So with that, I am going to turn the call over to Henry to begin.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all of you for attending. Thanks to NBGH. We're really excited to be there to be here today. My name's Henry, as she mentioned, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about this really interesting topic. Limeade is a corporate wellness technology company, and this is the agenda we'll cover today. So without further ado, just a little bit on this topic. The cool thing about this topic is there's this great alignment happening in the world between wellness programs and real business strategies at companies. I think we all remember probably 10 and 5 years ago where wellness programs kind of sat out there at the end of the benefits string. You know, you had all the other things that sat in front of it, and it tended to be siloed. More and more companies are realizing that the well-being of their workforce is actually directly connected to things like profitability and employee retention and other really important things in a competitive global economy. So Today we're going to cover what a real strategic program looks like. Ashley will be covering that in a minute. And just some things about what these words mean. Data-driven to me means you're getting real-time insights, and every week and every quarter you're looking for correlations and surprises in dashboards and trying to connect the participation in well-being activities to real business outcomes. CEO level means you've got someone who's willing to stand up publicly and say, I sincerely care about your well-being, I'm here to support this program matters to our bottom line. The third one is fun because obviously Williams is an energy company, but to us, energy flowing top down and bottom up means there's the right amount of employer brand building and kind of mandates about what you should do for preventive care, but there's also intrinsic motivation and social connection in the program. And then lastly, just getting an ideal state where at the end of the day, the vendor or the partners who are providing this have a status where they really feel like they get the vibe and they get the strategy of the company. So that's an ideal. And what this really looks like in the real world is, I'll just give you 3 quick examples and then hand it over to Ashley. Let's consider the image at left. It's obviously a hospital or health system. And so what's important to them might be patient care, patient outcomes. In the case, in today's economy, actually a lot of the goals of health systems are retaining skilled nursing staff. So if you're working with a company that wants to retain its employees, there are a lot of things that go into that, compensation and other things. But what we found in some research last year is that when an employer is believed by its employees to truly care about their well-being, those employees are 38% more engaged in work and 17% less likely to leave their jobs. So employee retention is a strategy that you can aim your wellness programs, initiatives, challenges, and incentives towards. The next example, same-store sales. So whether you're a grocery store, or a pharmacy, or a clothing store, a big deal in retail is how are same-store sales trending over time. If you can look in your dashboards for correlations between the participation in specific well-being activities or trainings or other initiatives and how those sales are trending, even maybe down to know, what are the managers who are truly energizing and engaging their employees, it should show up in a real business metric like same-store sales. And then lastly, and also fun, is let's say you're an energy company and your job is to get, let's say, natural gas from where it sits in the ground to people who need to heat their homes in the winter. You have specific goals. It might be about short-term disability or long-term disability or missed work or safety incidents. And you also have goals around healthcare consumerism and educating people about the choices that they make in healthcare. Aligning the wellness program with those specific business strategies in how you deploy the program, how you promote the program, and how you measure the success of the program is a trend that we're seeing all across the country today. And without further ado, I think we're going to get a great example of that today from Ashley from Williams. So I'll hand it over to you, Ashley.
Thank you, Henry, and thank you, NBGH. I am very excited to be here today to talk to you about how we have had success this year aligning our wellness program with our business goals and objectives. Now, as many of you know, we're part of the energy industry, but I know not everyone on the call today is part of the energy industry. So I encourage you to think about your company and your business goals and objectives and how you can cross-collaborate with other organizations in your business and align your wellness program to your company's business strategy and goals. So as we get started, let me give you a little bit of background on Williams. It's an exciting time for Williams. We are making strides towards becoming the premier provider of natural gas infrastructure in North America. We currently have more than 33,000 miles of natural gas pipeline, and we move about 30% of the nation's natural gas. We have just about 7,000 employees in more than 100 locations throughout the U.S. and Canada. Our main office is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I am coming to you from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, where my office is today. So now that you know about Williams, let's talk about our wellness program. For more than 10 years, Williams has had a wellness program. It started out as a paper-based program at some of the main offices, and it has evolved over time over the past 10 years to include a couple of online portals it is expanded to be offered to all Williams employees across the company, and most recently, we've been able to invite all eligible spouses and domestic partners to participate in the program. Williams has always believed that investing in wellness was part of being a great company, but our previous programs created barriers to participation and didn't have the success that we wanted. Prior to 2015, our employees were not engaged in the program. They found the tracking to be difficult. The website wasn't engaging. It was void of personalization. We were stuck with offering only physical activity or nutrition challenges. And so participants couldn't focus on total well-being. They couldn't focus on safety, building resiliency, focusing on family time, or addressing their stress. Also, our communications didn't always speak to the importance between wellness, safety, and the integration of the wellness program with the medical plan. We also lacked the data to tell a strong story and to help us understand our participants and what they needed. Lastly, the program wasn't fully integrated into the culture at Wellness, and because of this lack of integration, we didn't have the support that we felt like we needed to have success. So, as the saying goes, the past is in the past, and our team took the past as an opportunity to drive success and change and build a culture of wellness at Williams. This year, we have worked really, really hard to be able to build a new story of wellness at Williams. But to achieve this, we first had to understand and learn about our culture. We had to know who our employees are, what they wanted, what gets them excited, and what would motivate them and engage them in changing behaviors. We also needed to know what our organization wanted our culture to be. And most importantly, we needed to look for opportunities to integrate the wellness program into our business goals, objectives, and values. And we had to make all that tie together in one nice package to build a program that would resonate for employees and speak to our executives. In 2011, Alan Armstrong, he became our CEO, and he said to us that we needed to come together as employees and feel pride in working for Williams. And he knew that if we did that, we would be able to become the leader in the energy industry that he wants us to become. He also said that we are one company with one mission. Fast forward to this year, Alan gave all employees at the company a safety coin. The safety coin you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. It has 5 elements that he said the company would focus on to be able to help us become the leader in the energy industry that he knows we can be. As I speak today, think about what your business objectives are and what words would be on your coin if you were issued one by your CEO. Okay, so let's dive into the wellness program at Williams. A year and a half ago, we sat down with our account manager at Limeade, and they asked us what our wellness mission and vision were. We were just a little bit embarrassed to say that our mission and vision had been lost in the files and weren't something we were totally sticking to. Our account manager immediately stopped the meeting, and she said, we cannot continue any further until you develop a mission and vision and that is something you are proud of, and you will build your wellness program around that mission and vision. After several painful hours, we built our mission and vision to incorporate our company's values and help build a culture of health around those values. On the right-hand side, you can see the wellness icon. This, too, was developed at the same time as our mission and vision, but it was inspired by the Williams tagline, "We make energy happen." We know that if we can energize our employees, that will turn around and energize us as a company and position us to be the leader that Alan knows that we can be. So over the years, one thing that we've learned is that the wellness program needed to reflect the look and feel of the Williams brand and needed to resonate with our employees. It could not be something that was built out of a box, something that was built and handed out to every company that joined forces with that wellness program. It had to capture our audience. It had to speak to them. It had to energize them, and it had to excite them and invite them to work on their well-being. Learning from our past and focusing on the goals of our company, we strategically designed our wellness program incentive structure to be able to meet those goals and objectives. So to first do this, we wanted to emphasize the importance of getting health screenings and for employees to know their numbers. You have to see, many of our employees live in very rural, remote areas where access to medical care is limited. We also have an aging population of males that don't utilize the 100% paid preventive screenings the company offers them. Because of this knowledge, we put an incentive emphasis on completing a health screening and well-being assessment. The intent was to drive participation in screenings and to encourage participants to build a relationship with their physician. The second thing we wanted to do was we wanted participants to continue to work on improving their well-being throughout the year. We didn't want this to be a one-time activity. We wanted it to be a year-long process. So to be able to drive that desire and improve their well-being, we created these additional incentive levels that you can see on your screen. And we placed an incentive upon completion of those levels. We found through feedback and information from employees that they were excited to be able to choose how much effort they wanted to put into the program, and they got to choose how much incentive they received based on their participation. This, we found, made it really easy for participants to stay motivated throughout the year, and it also offers a program where participants can join the program when they're ready to participate, not just when the company says it's time for them to participate. Okay, next we realized that to successfully have our wellness program support and integrate with the Williams business goals, we needed our wellness program to embrace the One Williams mission, and it needed to embrace the 5 elements of the safety coin. We did this in many ways, but I'm going to highlight 5 ways that we have been aligning with the 5 values on the safety coin. The first thing we did was partner with safety. Safety is at the top of the coin because the One Williams mission is to operate safely in everything we do every day. This includes all employees, from those that report to an office every day to the field technicians that are out in the pipeline, building construction, working in rough terrain, or around hazardous materials all day long. But we couldn't do this ourselves. We recognized that we needed our safety team on board to help drive the program. Our safety reps meet with the field employees monthly. They offer education moments to the employees, and they provide various safety topics and trainings to the employees. This was a golden opportunity. We could not ask for a better group of employees to collaborate with than our safety reps. They could become our champions of the wellness program. But first, we had to help them see the connection between safety and wellness at Williams. So we went to a wellness summit where we were able to speak to all safety reps at the company. We educated them about how wellness and safety are integrated for Williams. And we discussed opportunities to work together and how their support the company could also support the wellness program and how we as the wellness program could support the safety goals of the company. This immediately turned into a program of champions. Some of the safety reps joined our Wellness Champion Network, and others just championed the goals by promoting the safety challenges each month at their offices. We asked these safety reps to be able to talk about the safety challenges in their meetings and to help spread the word. We also then turned and worked with the VP of Safety and asked them to sponsor challenges and talk about the wellness program during their meetings and their summits with the safety reps. We can see this collaboration is working, and it's really happening. We know this because we developed some safety questions for our well-being assessment. We asked employees, do you feel like Williams is supporting you in safety and health and wellness? And do you see the connection? More than 90% of respondents agreed that Williams does support them in having a safe and healthy work environment. So let's continue with safety for just a minute. We know that small lifestyle changes can help reduce worksite safety incidents. To support this message, we built several challenges this year that participants could work on that tied wellness and safety together. The first thing we did was collaborate with the safety department to have them sponsor a summer drinking challenge. The challenge Drink Up was for employees to focus on water consumption throughout the summer. We had more than 2,000 participants in that program. We also offered a challenge to take an energy moment. This helped participants step away from their job, take a break, relax, come back to your job more focused when you can think clearly and when you're ready to tackle the task at hand in a safe manner. Also, we know that everyone has tough mornings. We have difficult meetings. Opportunities all day long present itself to us to knock us off our game. But being resilient is the key. We developed a challenge around helping employees get back on their game, bounce back, give their whole self to their job, and be able to practice their task in a safe manner. Okay, we also know how much our employees are influenced by their families and vice versa. So we wanted to bring the value of safety to the homes. We know that it's important for our employees to be safe at home because in turn they can be safe in the job and come to their job each day. We developed some challenges that participants did for home safety. They did things like develop a disaster preparedness plan. We also challenged them to be safe and be prepared when they were doing hunting. Now, this may sound a little bit weird, but you have to understand our population are typically now out in the field working. This was a huge program for our employees, and we had a lot of success supporting hunting. We also had a home safety checklist that employees were able to complete, and several other programs and challenges that encourage safety at home. Moving on, collaboration is another element on the coin, and Williams has a business goal that we need to collaborate to rapidly deliver our best solutions. To support this goal, we created a series of team-oriented challenges. The first one was the Team Plankathon. This was a well-loved challenge and took on a life of its own. Everyone was talking about it. We were super excited about the 26,000 minutes our employees spent planking, but we were more excited because this helped build camaraderie among the employees and helped bring employees back into the program that were not participating or had left the program from prior years. The second thing we did to emphasize the One Williams mission was to be able to offer a walking challenge this year. We designed Walk Across Williams as an individual challenge where employees walked and tracked their minutes and their miles walking. But if we met the goal of 45,000 miles as a company, we would receive bonus points. We heard from employees that they started participating in the program to be able to earn the points, the extrinsic motivations, but it quickly turned into intrinsic motivations. Comments talked about how they were feeling healthier, getting up and moving throughout the day at the office, involving their kids, their spouse, their pets to get those miles in. The last thing that we did was collaborating between the home and the office. We know that collaboration at the office is important, but collaboration at home is just as important when trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. We accomplished this by offering bonus points for spouse or domestic partner participation in the program. We saw that this could build teamwork in the home and help impact the whole employee, not just the one that was showing up to the office each day. Another element of the safety coin is execution, and we knew that we wanted to execute our program and be successful, but we knew that we needed help, and so we developed a wellness champion network where these wellness champions were spread across the company, representing various geographical locations, representing all levels of the organization. These champions range from field ops techs and admins all the way up to directors. Their role isn't just to recruit and promote the program. These employees have been assigned the job of being a governing body of employees that support the program, communicate the program, help the program, but also offer feedback to us as a wellness team. We had in mind how we wanted this program to work and what we thought would happen, but it is definitely evolved into something bigger and better than we could ever imagine. We've seen and heard of our wellness champions providing smoothies during safety meetings, going as an office to the local gym to be able to get some cardio in after work, or sending emails saying, I'm going to participate in this challenge, why don't you join me? The overall effect this group has had on the program has been bottom-up engagement, and it's creating a deeper support and movement of the program at Williams. The fourth area of the coin is to grow. We know the program was developed. To grow the program, we developed a couple challenges for participants this year. The first one we did was spread the well-being. We initially designed this challenge for participants to earn bonus points for helping their boss, their coworker, their spouse, or domestic partner sign up and get going in the program. We were super excited to have this challenge, but we were even more excited with the results. It took on a life of its own as our participants put spreading the well-being into action. We heard from participants about recruiting their spouse to go for a walk, recruiting their coworker to go kayaking on the weekend, helping plan a meal as a family that was healthy and involved fruits and vegetables. We did a second challenge called Who Has Inspired You? This was designed to help employees tell stories and express gratitude to those that have inspired them to work on their well-being. We found something really interesting with this challenge. Some employees were inspired by their families, by their friends, or by someone they saw on TV, but the majority of employees responded that they were inspired by one of their own coworkers. This to us was an indicator that employees are taking the program to heart and encouraging each other to be the best that they can be. So the last element of the coin is to improve. One of the core values and beliefs at Williams is that employees are the company's best, most valuable resource. We know this is true, and so we needed to tie our wellness program to this value and incorporate feedback into our program this year. We really want employees to feel like this is their program. Total well-being for you is something totally different than it is for me. And we want employees to feel like this is their program by choosing the challenges and the activities they want to do to earn their incentive. Second, we want them to know it's their program by allowing them opportunities to make suggestions and to give feedback. To achieve this, we needed to get their feedback, and most importantly, we needed to act on it. So, how are we acting on it? We're acting on it by having challenges be sponsored by different groups in the organization like safety, community relations, or specific employees. We've taken the feedback that we received this year, and we've offered challenges to accommodate their participants' suggestions and communicated to them that this challenge was sponsored by this employee, or this challenge was sponsored by community relations. We're also building our 2016 challenge based on the feedback and the suggestions we received from participants. And we will again be inviting groups within the organization to sponsor a challenge or asking employees to sponsor the challenge. So this is what we want to know. Is it working? Is our hard work paying off? And we can honestly say at Williams that our hard work is paying off after just 9 months. The data tells us that it is. We have a strong, sustained engagement compared to the industry average. We have high-risk employees that are very engaged, and we know this is important from a medical cost perspective, but we also have those that have no risk factors also participating and engaged in the program. We were super excited to learn that we had an 8.5 score for program satisfaction from employees. This was huge. We've also made an impact on safety. Like I mentioned, 90% of employees feel that Williams does provide a safe and healthy work environment. We've also had high safety challenge participation this year. Lastly, our executives are supportive of it. They're seeing and talking about the overall well-being of the company. They're talking about the camaraderie that this program has built and the connection between safety and wellness at Williams. They see the value in aligning our wellness program with safety, with benefits, and with the business goals and objectives. And they've encouraged us to be able to continue to leverage the connections and the collaborations we have developed this year. This is all great, but what really shows us that we're having success are the individual stories we've received from employees this year. Meet Jack Ellis, who's in Moab, Utah. Jack says that he feels safer on the job thanks to his improved physical condition. This is Grover and his wife Frieda in Geismar, Louisiana. They both have been participating in the program, and they have used the spirit of camaraderie to encourage each other and to drive each other towards success this year. This is David Darcy, our VP of Strategic Development at Williams, and he is a great leader by example. His employees that report to him feel like they have permission to focus on their own health and well-being. So as we look back on 2015 and the success we've had this year, it can definitely be attributed to a few things. The first was aligning our business mission with our wellness program. The second was building and maintaining cross-organizational allies and collaborating to support each other's cause. The third was designing simple and impactful communications that would resonate with our employees. The fourth was to allow two-way employee engagement, feedback, and most importantly, acting on it where we could. And the last thing was building wellness champions and developing team spirit across the company. So as we wrap up today, we realized that our work in 2016 is not done. There is so much we can do to reinforce our mission, collaborate with other groups within the company, and build on our 2015 success. I hope our story today can help you think about how your business mission connects to wellness, or in other words, what's on your coin.
Great. Thank you so much, Ashley and Henry. Great content that you all shared, and we've had a number of questions that came in. So before we dive into those questions, I just wanted to remind the audience that you can submit a question electronically using the Q&A tab on the right-hand side of your screen. Type your question, and please make sure to send to all panelists so that we have the opportunity to review that. And in just a moment, we'll be putting up our evaluation, and we would ask you to take a moment to fill that out before exiting from today's webinar. I wanted to go ahead and start with some of the questions that have come in throughout the presentation. And the first one is about the opportunity for other departments to sponsor a challenge. And Ashley, I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit more about that process. I know you've mentioned that you reach out to departments seeking interest to sponsor a challenge. How do you go about identifying what the best challenge would be across departments?
So we have reached out, like I said, we reached out to the safety department and we had them sponsor the challenge. This time they actually offered water bottles and provided water bottles for participants that we held a drawing. And so they sponsored the challenge in that way. But then we've also, as we've worked with community relations and others, we've had them promote the challenge through their communication channels. So not just are we communicating it in our normal traditional communication channels, we've reached out to community relations or to safety and said, in your communications, can you talk about how you're sponsoring this or how you're supporting it at the program? So we've done both financial and through our communications, we've had them sponsor the program.
And you can probably tell by the voice, but this is Henry here. I was just going to share that, you know, our most successful programs tend to have what I would call a unified leadership team. There might be 5 or 6 or 7 of the key top leaders in a company, and they might just rotate how they sponsor a challenge every month or two, and often it's just something they care about. You might have one leader who really cares about Alzheimer's disease because of someone in their family, and they might sponsor a charity challenge. You might have a super jock marathoner type who wants to do a competitive steps challenge. So having them do a short video or target that challenge, and maybe even commit to sharing the results and the leaderboards in a really transparent way is one way to really show that the whole company is aligned around the program. So just 2 cents there.
Mm-hmm. Well, that leads to another great question that's come in, and I think Henry or Ashley, please feel free to offer input on this, is how do you get to those leaders of other departments and garner their interest in wanting to sponsor a challenge? I know, Henry, you just mentioned the challenge might be around something that they're already passionate about, but have you seen with the Williams Company or other clients any lessons learned to help other business group member companies trying to garner the interest across departments? And then, Ashley, what you've done to help pull leaders in from other departments and have them interested in doing this?
Well, I'm more interested in Ashley's response, so I'll keep mine really short. A lot of times it's a matter of having our strategic account executives work with people like Ashley, reading public reports, seeing how the company shows up in the press, looking at their internal communications about what's most strategically important, and then also, showing the value, bringing data to them. Oftentimes, data does a lot more than any number of phone calls and outreach. So those are some ideas I have. Ashley, I definitely would love to hear your ideas and how you've done it.
So we've done it exactly like you mentioned, Henry. We've also, we have a really great group of people that we work with at Williams, and it seems like at Williams somebody knows the right person or has a relationship with the right person, and so we try and leverage those that have a relationship with that leader or that group to be able to work with them. But then I think the main thing that we provide for them is we say, this is what we want to do, this is what's required of you, and this is what we can do for you in return. And so making sure it's something that we're working together to support each other, and it's not just about what wellness needs. It's about how we can support them. And when we go with that mindset and that directive, then we're able to get the support that we need at Williams.
Yeah, I think also, the message I know about healthcare consumerism being important, I think senior leadership responds really well to the concept of accountability and engagement on things that really matter to you and the business. The word alignment comes up a lot. And frankly, on the cost side of the equation, a lot of leaders can see and can be shown that this investment in wellness is probably one of the lowest cost investments they can make that has a really positive impact. I mean, when you're talking about spending maybe 200 times more on health insurance than you might spend on a wellness program, you definitely get that excitement around the high leverage you can get in that investment.
Great, thank you. I'm wondering, Ashley, if you can also speak to how your program is designed to correlate between the points that people receive for the challenges and the incentives they receive. Can you talk about that correlation?
Yeah, so let me just back up just a little bit. There is a gateway activity, so to speak. Participants have to complete a well-being assessment and a screening to be able to earn in any incentive. There is an incentive tied to those 2 events. They do those 2 events and they receive an incentive, and they can go on per 1,000 points equals another level of incentive. So if they, do activities and earn 1,000 points, then they earn the next level of incentive. Another 1,000 points equals the next level of incentive. So points correlate over. Oh, I'm sorry. I should say premium discount. That's how it correlates.
And can you remind us of what the maximum premium reduction is that employees can receive?
Yeah, for 2015, employees and spouses or domestic partners could each receive a $300 premium discount.
Great. Fantastic. Just going through a couple more questions as they come in. We've gotten a good deal of questions. One of them is related to your overall results, and I think that members and attendees agree you've gotten great participation. Have you looked at any breakdown between the spouse participation and the employee participation in those numbers that you provided?
We have looked at spouse versus employee participation in the reports that we receive from Limeade Weekly, and we have seen a great increase in our spouse participation this year over last year, and our employee engagement we've been able to look at and seen a significant increase also from last year to this year.
Great. And we saw on the slides that you presented that the platform, your wellness platform, is made available via the phone. Can you speak to what all platforms the program is available on, and if you had any anecdotal or data-related evidence on whether or not one platform is used more often by your employees since they're so spread out?
So, Henry, I'm going to take this first, and then I'm going to pass it to you.
Great.
Limeade will say that they develop their mobile responsive first. So they develop their platform and everything on their mobile devices first. And I can honestly say that I was a little bit nervous about not having an app that the employees could use right then, but we communicated to employees the ability to use the wellness program on their mobile device, and it's beautiful. It works seamlessly. The tracking is awesome. I love using my wellness program and tracking on my mobile device. In fact, I use it more than I use the website per se. Depends on what I'm doing. We did not do any tracking to see whether people were using like an Apple or an Android compared to their website. We didn't do any looking into that.
Yeah, although I would say that is data that we can share, and we see some interesting trends that happen really about time of day. A lot of times, when people are actually on the job or, in front of their desk, you see more desktop. Obviously, there's not people in front of their desks when they're out on pipelines, but we see mobile usage spike towards the end of the day and early in the morning and when people are not on times. And then we also have real-time data on all of the devices and apps that are connected into the program as well. So we can tell how many people are using which devices and how much activity is being tracked, self-reported versus device as well.
Great. And within the program, you've spoken about the various types of challenges that you offer. How many challenges do you offer at any one time?
So we have challenges that are available all year long for things like getting your preventive screenings or getting your mammogram or colonoscopy. Those are available as a one-time activity all year long. But then within the month or within the summer or whatnot, there's about 5 to 7 challenges that we offer. 7's pretty high. We tried to stick to about 5 challenges that participants can participate in based on the time of year, what our employees' needs are, what we as a business need to work on, and those types of things. And so it's about 5 per month.
Great. And have you noticed any fatigue with offering multiple challenges at one time, or do you feel like the choice is stimulating participation because people then have options to do what they would like to do?
I totally feel like the choice, wellness is totally different for you versus me versus my coworker sitting next to me. And what I want to work on isn't what they want to work on. And so by offering the variety of challenges allows for that interest and that personalization of the program. And no, we haven't seen fatigue in the participation in our program. We've had 50% engagement, 2-week engagement over the life of the program with registered users, which tells us our participants are going in and tracking and participating in the program. We also, wait, let me just add one other thing. We try and make it very simple and straightforward challenges. And so when we were first talking about this, I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed, you know, a year and a half ago about the complexity of challenges. When you think of a challenge, you think of something really complex. We've really strived for our field employees, especially, to make the challenges be very simple, straightforward, and easy to understand and easy to do, and not requiring a lot of complexity.
Great, thank you. And Henry, I wanted to give you the opportunity to weigh in on that just from your experience from Limeade, if you've seen some sort of critical mass or, you know, threshold of challenges a company should offer at any one time.
Yeah, actually that's something we have looked at. You would be surprised, actually. The optimal number of challenges to offer is usually a higher number than most companies are thinking about, and I think it's exactly the point of your question, which is people like choice. I mean, you could put two 54-year-old male overweight pipeline workers next to each other, and one of them might really be passionate about volunteering and steps, and one of them might be really into healthcare prevention and, opera singing. So, having some choice that's relevant to those people who look on paper or from health claims to be identical, they're actually not identical because they're human beings. So I would say, 5 to 7 at any time is great. You could probably get away with 10 or 12 and not be harmed by that as well. The other thing is, having these change, as Ashley said, whether it's every 2 months, every quarter, keeps something fresh to look out for. And if there just wasn't enough choice for you the prior quarter and you didn't see things you liked, there's always something else coming, and so that keeps it fresh. It also allows you opportunities to connect it to the next hot button strategy. Maybe, as Ashley mentioned with Williams, they had a new leader come on board. Maybe there's going to be a merger and acquisition in your company. Maybe there was a big change in the way you go to market, or a new competitor entering. So the strategy of the company could change, and that could mean that you want to focus on something else in your wellness program that supports that.
Great, thank you. That's, such great information as employees think about their wellness program and moving to a broader well-being strategy, as well as how many things can we be asking employees to do at one time. So thank you for that insight. We've also had a question about your Wellness Champion Network that you have at the Williams Company. Ashley, I was wondering if you might be able to share for just, a little bit more detail about the size of your Wellness Champion Network and how you went about recruiting them.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So when we originally set out to build a Wellness Champion Network, we were going to send an email out to people that had participated in the program the prior year and say, we want to build this champion network. Would you like to participate? And as we met with our HR leadership team, they encouraged us to take a step back and to be able to involve directors and VPs of the company in building this champion network. And we kind of were like, we don't know if we'll get the right number of participants, and we were concerned that we wouldn't get enough to be able to build this network. But we did it anyways. We emailed the VPs and the directors of the company and asked them to send over a recommendation for an employee that participates in the wellness program and also is a respected employee at that location. And we were overwhelmed, to say the least. We received more nominations than we ever could have used of employees who were excited about wellness, but were also employees that their coworkers could resonate with and could collaborate with and get along with. And so we built our network based on the recommendations we received from VPs and directors. And we set out initially to have about 15 or 17 champions across the company, and because we received so many nominations, we actually ended up on 26 champions that are across the company, like I said, representing all organizational levels and geographical levels of the company. So that was one way we really worked to involve our VPs and directors in building that network. And educating them about the importance of wellness at Williams.
That's fantastic, and also a great way to get their buy-in, as you suggested early on.
Exactly.
It leads to another question that has come in, and that's whether or not you had any managers or leaders that were less supportive of the new wellness strategy, and if you can offer any words of advice on how you managed that relationship or maybe garnered success in the end for other employers who struggle to get buy-in across their leadership of multiple departments.
So we actually are pretty lucky. We have a lot of support for wellness at Williams across the areas. We've maybe not as vocally as some companies talk about, you know, their CEO taking walks with the employees or whatnot, but we do have the support that we need, and we've been able to just really, truly, I think it comes down to building relationships with those people, building relationships with those managers or those VPs or those directors, and having that relationship, that personal relationship with them first, and then being able to work with them with the wellness program and educate them on the importance of it from there. That's the best way I have found.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Henry, I'll let you answer a question that has come in about the Williams Company partnership with Limeade and how long it takes to move from early discussions to implementation of a program such as the Limeade program that Ashley presented.
Yeah, I think really it could be as short as a couple of months. Oftentimes we find that the dependency is a lot more on the enterprise or the company trying to deploy these, like getting the strategy right, getting their health insurance strategy, their benefit strategy, their HR strategy, all that. But in terms of us showing up and having our account execs work with the company to document them and contract and get the thing launched, it could be, 3 months end to end. So it really depends. I think the most important thing, though, is you only get one chance to make a first impression. And when you launch this program, you want it to come out, out with a really positive impact. It's a lot harder to recover from, a negative experience or a negative launch or something that doesn't feel like it has the support of the CEO and, as Ashley pointed out, the CEO and the respected leaders in the organization. So we really focus a lot on, having the program launch in a positive way. The communication of incentives is positive. The product itself works well, and it's fun and positive. And that typically is the difference between a really great launch and a good launch.
Great, thank you. And it leads to another great question from one of our attendees, and that's whether or not, Ashley, did the Williams Company work with your health plans in designing this program as well, or is it something that you keep separate from your health plan strategy or relationship?
Our health plan did not help us build this program. We keep it. How do I say this? The design of the program is kept separately than the wellness program, but in every communication we do about the wellness program, we link it and integrate it to the medical plan. And every time we talk about the medical plan or the benefits, then we talk about the wellness program, so that connection and that collaboration and employees see that the importance of both programs and how they correlate to each other.
Great. And what does your future for the program look like as far as data analytics? How do you hope to evaluate the program in the future as you have more and more data to do so?
So we are looking at comparing our previous year's health screening data as compared to this year's health screening data. Limeade is conducting that research for us to be able to do that analysis. And then as far as the future, I feel like we're just at the tip of the iceberg and just beginning to understand the capabilities that Limeade has for reporting and analytics. And so we want to be able to further move beyond participation and enrollment in the program, but really look at what are those with 4 risk factors interested in participating in, and what are they participating in, and how can we move them from this level of participation to the next level of participation, and then also back to our 0 risk factors. You know, what can we do for them to keep them engaged in the program and keep them at a 0 risk factor, because we want to keep our healthy people healthy. And those are the types of things we want to dive into and look at and analyze and make sure we are supporting employees across all areas of the spectrum.
Yeah, I would just chime in that it's all about the coin. She shared that they have a strategy, they have a coin, they have safety and the ability to slice and dice data and say, how are people in different regions, on different health plans, spouses versus employees, new hires versus old hires, how are they all engaging, how are their biometrics changing, how are other outcomes that relate to the coin moving over time? That's our charter. So we'll have to work with Williams to figure out what exact insights they need.
Fantastic. Well, I think that is just a great point to end on, bringing us full circle back to the title of today's webinar, Aligning the Wellness Program with Your Business Strategy. We have come to the top of the hour, so for those of you on the call, would like to remind you that the evaluation is on your screen, and we would ask you just to take a quick moment to answer those questions to help us know how we did today and how we can improve for the future. Also want to thank Henry and Ashley very much for your presentations today. I think the number of questions show how interested our members are in this topic and how impressed they are with how well things are going for the Williams Company. So thank you very much for your time and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you very much. Have happy holidays, everyone.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone.
This does conclude today's conference call. You may now disconnect.